The Monarch and the Void God. Prologue. The Monarch and the Void God. Chapter 1 Prologue. The narrator's POV. The story starts in the beautiful city of Tempest, or more specifically, the office of the Tempest. The ruler of the great nation, the Jura Tempest Federation and the fifth true dragon, the strongest being of his universe, is struggling in his battle with his strongest foe, his office work. Why does the paperwork keep on increasing day by day? Rimuru asked in a very irritated tone. Because, Master, you always left half of the work for the next day. Ciel, his most trusted partner and his soulmate, literal soulmate, said in her usual teasing way. I know that, Ciel. I am saying, what should I do to complete all this work so that I can go read some manga and chill? Regarding your mangas, unfortunately, the manga collection you had is already finished. What? How? I remember I had an archive full of mangas, Rimuru said in an almost disbelieving way. Master, that archive was created after the Founders' Festival, and it's almost 100 years since then. You mean I cannot read any new manga now? Unfortunately, you cannot, Master. At this, Rimuru got completely dejected. Is there any way of resolving this issue, Ciel? He asked in an extremely depressed state. Ciel, who cannot see her master in this state, offered a solution. Why not visit Earth, your previous world, again? Rimuru's eyes widened at hearing this idea. Oh right, my previous world. It's already been 100 years, so there must be at least hundreds of thousands of mangas and anime that have been released. Let's go, Ciel. No, she cut him immediately. Huh, what do you mean no? First the paperwork, only then, she said in an authoritative tone. What? This is so boring, but I get to see what my world looks like after all those years, so let's get to work. He then enthusiastically started his work and completed it. All work finally done. I feel like I can sleep for days after this. Master, your god of void, you don't require any sleep. It's just a figure of speech, Ciel, and I know that you said this for fun. It's just your imagination, hee. Right. Anyway, when can we leave then? About that, there are some problems. What problems, Ciel? When I was searching for your world, I found that there is a huge barrier between our current universe and your former universe. A barrier? And what do you mean by universe? And if there is a barrier blocking us, then how could I or summon people travel from there to here 100 years ago? About that, the previous world or universe you or summon ones came from is a different universe not created by Veldora, separated by an interdimensional barrier. That barrier formed several small wormholes between our universe and the universe that is very close to ours after the death of Veldora. These tiny wormholes are the reason why you and otherworlders were able to travel to this universe. I understand that, but can't we use those same wormholes again? A normal human, or imagine up to rank D, D-, can travel, but not above them. The wormholes are very tiny, and as your magicule density is very high, you wouldn't fit in those holes. So there is no way, huh? Rimuru again got dejected. No, there's a way. What there is? Yeah, you can travel by sending a fragment of yourself that can fit, and then, fragment by fragment, you can send most of your body. Very good idea, Ciel. Let's call the executives to inform them about my short trip. As you wish, Master. I sent the message to all executives to arrive quickly. As she said, the 12 Guardian Lords arrived in the meeting room, where all the important meetings and conferences are held. They all kneeled down as Rimuru entered the room and sat in their chairs. You ordered us to come, my lord. A black-haired demon, most commonly known as Diablo, Rimuru's personal butler and demon lord of the 12 Guardian Lords. Yes, I called you all for announcing something, but I had called someone else too. Rimuru said that, and someone came from the door. A large-built man with blonde hair and a white shirt and black pants came and said, Sorry for being late, Rimuru. Ramirez and I were upgrading some parts of the dungeon. No problem, that's important too. Rimuru cleared his throat and said, So, the reason I called you here is because I have decided to visit my old world for some time to fix the problems related to other worlders. Everyone was confused because they didn't know why would Rimuru needed to announce it to them. As Rimuru is the strongest and most powerful being of their universe, it shouldn't be much of a problem for him to solve this without anyone knowing. But one dragon had something to say. Wait, Rimuru, you're going to your old world. Then take me too. Rimuru-sama, as your personal secretary, I should also go with you. Shin, Rimuru's personal secretary and warlord of the 12 guardian lords, said that. Shindono is right, and as your personal butler I too shall go with you, Diablo said. Rimuru sighed and said, That's why I wanted to tell you before going. The thing is, my original world is located in another universe created by some other being rather than Veldonava. To get there, I had to pass through a multiversal barrier. The first time I was able to pass the barrier was because my soul was small enough to pass through the tiny wormhole, but now that I am powerful, I cannot pass through that. So I, Ciel, have devised a method of sending fragments of my power in every short period of time. That means I can also go to your world by dividing a fragment of my power. That's what you're saying, right, Rimuru? Veldora said, deducing what he wanted to hear. Lord Veldora, I don't think Rimuru-sama was trying to say that. Benimaru, the samurai general and flare lord of the 12 guardian lords, said. Benimaru is right, Veldora. I am telling you this because this process has never been done before, and if something happens to me, you have to be ready to resurrect me. If you go with me and something happens to you too, then you know what will happen. I hope you understand, Veldora. Also, you're being the last line of defense, so how can you leave Tempest with me? You're right, WHHA, don't worry, Rimuru. As long as I, the great storm dragon, Veldora, is here, nothing wrong will happen to you or this nation. You can count on me, Veldora declared happily. Thanks, Veldora, for understanding. He then turned towards the executives and said, Until I come back, operate Tempest on my behalf. No one should be able to guess that I am not in the cardinal world. Yes, my lord, everyone said it in unison. Now you all can go, I am going to leave in a day. Everyone left the room, but Veldora stayed behind. What is it, Veldora? Do you have something to say? Actually, I know the reason is not just to solve the Otherworlder's problem. You're going for the manga. Before he could say anything, Rimuru put his hand in front of his mouth. SHH, do you want to let Shuna and Shin know about this? Yeah, I am going for my manga collection, so don't tell anyone. Geez, I should have been aware of your ultimate skill, Nyarlathotep's investigative feature. Why would I tell anyone? Actually, I want to give you a list of manga Ramirez and I want. Can you bring them too? Why not? Give me the list before departure. Veldora nodded eagerly and quickly jotted down a list of manga titles for Rimuru to bring back. Rimuru smiled, grateful for the distraction from their original conversation about the real reason for the visit. The next day, Rimuru made a parallel body for himself, so that if Rimuru had to resurrect, he could with this body. He then went inside the labyrinth's lowest floors and called his executives. Okay, everyone, I will try to come back in a week or a month. I will try to send a message if I can. He then called Guy Crimson, the Red Primordial and the first true demon lord. Hey, Guy, take care of the cardinal world until I come back. Don't worry, I know my job, Guy said casually. Rimuru then transferred a part of his soul, which contained all of his memories and Ciel, into a sphere and the body in a container that will slowly transfer his power into the other world. The sphere went outside the labyrinth and then outside the cardinal world. He then crossed the dimension and entered the place where the interdimensional barrier is and entered the wormhole Ciel suggested. After a cruciatingly long journey, he went outside the wormhole and entered the atmosphere and then landed on the ground. As soon as he reached the ground, the sphere began to transform and reformed into Rimuru. Somewhere else, someone was sitting in a throne. The person looks humanoid but not human. He was all black from head to toe. He was very muscular with glowing, flame-like purple hair, glowing purple eyes, 2 curved black horns and sharp claws. He also wore jet black armor and a long, smoky black cloak and wielded a pure black sword. POV. What was that? A miniature wormhole just now formed in the Earth's atmosphere, and from that something came out, I thought. But it possesses quite low mana, equivalent to a D-rank hunter in human terms. It shouldn't concern me that much. I have to prepare for my successor. As I was thinking, the one I was waiting for came. Lord Ashborn, Monarch of Shadows, as per your wish, all the preparations are done. Tomorrow morning the test and system will start and you will get your host, and I will get the part of my deal. The one I made a deal with said. I replied, you will get immortality as per our deal, but only after I successfully acquire that body. You understand that, architect? I know, Lord Ashborn. Now please excuse me, I have to check some final arrangements, architect said and left the hall. As soon as he was gone, I flicked my finger and summoned one of my most loyal and strongest knights, Igris. You called me my king, Igris, the blood-red asked, bowing in front of me. Igris, a moment ago, a wormhole was opened in the atmosphere of Soul, and an entity came out of it. The entity itself doesn't appear to be strong, but it came out of a wormhole, and that itself is a concerning topic. There is still time before you challenge my successor, so go and check on this entity. Yes, my king, he said and vanished in his shadow. Back to Rimuru. Rimuru's POV. It was nighttime, and I was in an alleyway after reforming. I went out of the alley and saw the place clearly, not knowing where I was, so I asked my partner. Ciel, where am I? According to the longitudinal and latitudinal coordinates of this place, it is safe to assume we are in Seoul, South Korea. South Korea. Ciel, I guess we were going to Japan, so how come we are in Korea? Due to the travel, my calculation got slightly off course. I apologize for this mistake, master. Please don't get disappointed in me. Hey, I'm not disappointed in you. I just asked, so please stop apologizing. As I was talking to Ciel, I saw a bunch of armored men with swords and bows coming out of a building. Hey Ciel, is there some kind of cosplay show going on here? Their armor are looking good, just like the armors made by dwarfs of Dworgen. That's because they are real armors and weapons, master. They are emanating low magicules. What magicules here? How? I asked in utter disbelief. Yes, master, here. I am surprised too. Not just from their weapons, but also from the atmosphere too. The magicule density of this place is just like that of Tempest with mana slabs. How can there be magicules? Then I saw a television nearby playing news, but what made me shocked was the date, which was at least only just 20 years after my death, not 100 years. Ciel, you said that 100 years have passed, but here only 20 years have passed. It's quite surprising. According to the examinations done on otherworlders and the individual Shizue Izawa, the space-time continuum of both worlds should be the same. Master, can you please go near the TV? I have to access the knowledge archives of this world. I agreed and went near the TV. She entered the digital circuits and accessed all of the knowledge this world has through satellites in a matter of seconds. Master, I can now answer almost all your questions. This world is definitely your original world. All your reports and results, including your death report, is present. Regarding the magicules of this world, after your death, portals to mysterious places started opening randomly around the world. People started calling these portals as gates and mysterious places as dungeons. These dungeons contain various types of monsters and rare items. 7 days after the opening of the gate, monsters break out of the dungeons. Militaries tried whatever they could to stop the monster breakout, but were successful for a limited time only. But something unexpected happened along the opening of gates. People with extraordinary powers began to rise and started clearing those dungeons. The emergence of powers is called awakening. A completely new job was created for clearing of these dungeons, which is called hunters. So, anyone with mana can become a hunter, right? Is there something else you want to say? Yes, master, anyone with magicules can become a hunter. There are also rankings of hunters and gates, just like in an adventurer's guild. with the only exception being that your rank depends on the magicule capacity. Therefore, it cannot be changed unless you get a reawakening. The rankings are classified into S, A, B, C, D, E, and F, in addition to national rank hunters, who are only 5 in the whole world. It seems quite interesting. I should try to entertain myself in this world. What you say, Ciel? As you wish, master. I have an interesting idea, wanna hear. What is it, Ciel? How about making it like a game? I don't understand. In a simpler way, how about you level up as much as you defeat stronger opponents? Ooh, interesting, but how am I going to level up? Simple, your energy transfer will continue through the wormhole, but instead of getting it automatically, I will store it up in the imaginary space and use it as reward for leveling up. Based on your world's game data, I can prepare a system just for you. Thank you, Ciel. We will start the system from tomorrow onwards. Right now we need a house and money, but most importantly, tell Veldora and others that I am safe. Already done, master. Ciel then showed me the direction of a motel for the night. I closed my eyes and slept. At least the spy who is watching me will think I slept. Even though I am currently at just a D rank level, my partner is not someone you can hide from. Ciel, did you analyze the spy? Yes, master. It looks like that he is made of shadow energy, a degraded form of turn null or null energy. The user can resurrect anyone with this energy and make them their slave. This one spy is that of a level of Benimaru before he became a guardian lord. If he works for someone who can use shadow energy, then it would be wise to not engage in a meaningless feud until I get even half of my power. Let him think I am just a normal hunter. The spy never left my side. I got really uncomfortable but didn't let it show. After leaving the motel, I headed to the Hunter Association for a hunter license. I got evaluated as a D-rank hunter. To earn some money, I found out that there is a party of hunters who need an extra member to enter the dungeon, so I applied for it. I reached the site where the dungeon is. An old man looked towards me and asked, "Hey, are you Rimuru Tempest by any chance?" "Yeah, I am Rimuru Tempest. I applied for this dungeon raid. You must be Mr. Song Kai-Yul, whom I contacted with." "Yes, I am. Let me introduce you to others." He then called everyone. "Everyone, meet Rimuru Tempest. He is going to participate with us." I bowed and said, "Hello, everyone. I am a D rank and I just recently got my hunter license, so please take care of me." Everyone greeted me, and Mr. Song gave me a cup of coffee. "When are we going inside the dungeon?" I asked. I was excited to see the dungeons here. "Patience, kid, we are waiting for the last member of the party." He then looked backwards and smiled. "Here he is." I also looked towards that direction. "Rimuru, that's Sung Jin-Woo, the last member of the party." Everyone seems very happy to see him. Is he a strong hunter? Actually, opposite. He is the weakest hunter of all mankind. Weakest? Then why is everyone happy and why is he going to a dungeon? Everyone is happy because he is like a good luck charm. If he is on duty, that means the dungeon is going to be easy. And for your second question, he is entering the dungeon to pay for his sister's school fees and the medical bills of his mother. Quite a hard life he is living, poor soul. Jin-Woo's POV. My name is Sung Jin-Woo, the weakest among the weakest. Even an average E-ranker is stronger than me. I have to put my life on the line every time, even in the weakest dungeon. I am not doing this because I enjoy it, but because I have to pay my sister's school fees and send her to college and pay my mother's medical bills. My father was one of the earliest hunters of the world, but he got trapped inside a dungeon while rescuing the other members. Since then, no news has been heard about him. After him, whole house burden came over me and Mom, but my luck is the worst of the worst. Some years ago, after my awakening, she got diagnosed with eternal slumber. In this condition, the person falls into a deep sleep from which they cannot be awakened. I can barely manage to pay for my mother's hospital bills with financial aid the Hunters Association is providing me. I have only graduated from high school, and there's nothing I'm particularly good at, so I had no choice but to get a job as a hunter. Enough of my introduction. Let's continue on with the story. I came here for the dungeon raid Mr. Song informed me about. While entering the location, everyone smiled and greeted me, but I know the reason behind their smiles. Behind my back, 2 people were talking about me. At least try to lower your voice while talking about me, you old geezers, sigh. I then went for some coffee. Sorry, Jin-Woo, the last one is taken by someone already. My luck is the worst. Before I could curse my luck some more, someone poked me from the back. Hey, if you want coffee, you can have mine. When I turned backwards, I saw a beautiful silverish blue-haired girl. Thanks, miss. For your kind information, I am a boy, dude. I instinctively bowed and apologized. Don't worry, people tend to guess like that, so I am not angry with you. He then smiled and said, by the way, my name is Rimuru Tempest, and I am going to accompany you in today's raid. My name is Sung Jin-Woo. Nice to meet you. Then we both shook our hands and went towards the group. There are a total of 10 hunters, including me and Rimuru. Mr. Song is going to be our leader. Mr. Song then addressed me and Rimuru. Jin-Woo and Rimuru, if you feel like something is dangerous or too tough for you, then there is no shame in being on the sidelines and helping the injured. You got it. To which both of us nodded. We then started entering the gate one by one. Good luck to you, Rimuru said to me. I responded by saying the same. I have to put my all today too, and I entered the dungeon. Shadow Monarch and Void God. Chapter 2. JINWO's POV. Hello, my name is Sung Jin-Woo, an E-rank hunter also known as the weakest hunter of all time. Currently, I am inside a D-rank dungeon with a group of hunters led by Mr. Song Kai-yeol. The group comprises 10 members, 9 regulars of this team, including me, and a new hunter because one of our regulars couldn't come. Right now, I got injured by a low-level monster and barely managed to hunt them down, while others, without breaking a sweat, killed each one of them. Even the newbie is killing them easily. I really am pathetic. I was lamenting myself when someone shouted my name close enough from my ears. Jin-Woo. The voice belongs to a member of our raid party, Lee Ju-hee, a B-rank healer. She's the highest-ranking member of our party and also a close friend of mine who always heals me whenever I get hurt. Hey Ju-hee, I said to her. Don't hey me, you again went to get injured yourself. You should know when to stop yourself, she said, healing my wounds on my knee and chest. Sorry, I said to her. I'm not saying this for an apology, Jin-Woo. I am just worried for you, she said and looked towards the other members of the group. It looks like the raid is almost over. The group completed fighting and started talking. Mr. Park, you're still in shape even though you last visited a dungeon several months ago, an old man named Kim said. This is a piece of cake, Mr. Kim. By the way, I can see that this little newbie is doing much better than me, Mr. Park said, ruffling Rimuru's hair. Do you have some experience in dungeon fighting, kid? Yeah, Rimuru, you're doing good for a newbie, and your swordsmanship is quite impressive too, Mr. Song said, looking very impressed. Thanks for the compliment, everyone. My master taught me sword fighting since my early days. It's called hazy style. I am a sword instructor, so I can tell that much. This style originated in Japan, and in the past, several hunters in Japan used it, but it's nearly extinct now, and only one person uses it nowadays because it's way too hard for anyone and needed years of training, which hunters do not have, Mr. Song said. They were continuing to talk when someone shouted, Mr. Song, look what we found. When we reached there, we found another entrance through a cave. The double dungeon looks like it's real. He summoned a fireball and launched it straight into the cave to see its end, but nothing was seen. He moved towards the group and said, Listen, everyone, the dungeon closes once the boss is slain, but the dungeon is still open, which means the boss is inside there. Usually we wait for the association's orders, but if the other hunters get to it first, our profit would dwindle. So I propose that we enter this dungeon and slay the boss. What do you say? Some were against, and some were in favor, so Mr. Song suggested deciding it democratically. Rimuru said, I am just a newbie, so I don't think I know that well to vote, so I am not voting. So besides Rimuru, we have 4 yes and 4 no. The only one left is Jin-Woo. What do you say? I don't have enough money for my sick mother and my sister. Even with hunting, I cannot afford to pay for both of them. If I get a chance to earn some more, then I would do it. Do it for my family. I made a resolve and said, I am going. Some got dejected while some got happy. So the decision is made, no more complaints now. We all entered the dungeon. I apologized to Ju-hee and Rimuru for dragging them too into this mess. Hey, stop apologizing. It was my decision to follow the group, so I am not blaming you, Rimuru said. Rimuru is right. It was our decision to follow the group. Ju-hee, you don't have to force yourself if you're not. I felt a chill down my spine. You're right, I am not liking it, she shouted at me, saying, Are you crazy? Just now, if you'd been stabbed just a little above, there would be a hole in your heart. And don't mention your legs and arms. Even THOUGH, I just healed them barely. For approximately 1 hour, we were walking on the path. A dungeon gate closes after 1 hour of defeating the boss, so we have to do something to get outside before the time limit. Soon, the path ended, and a large gate came into view. Rimuru's POV. Just after entering the gate. Ciel, what's the status of the spy? Spy followed us to the gate site, but didn't enter the gate. Could it be that the spy cannot enter these gates? It's highly unlikely. Creatures made from shadow energy do not have any problem regarding entering and exiting a gate. So, it must be on the order of their master who created them. It's the highly likely reason. May I investigate this dungeon for a better assumption? Do it, but not the whole dungeon at a single time. We couldn't risk letting them know about us. Scan it in an area of radius 50 meters from me. As you wish, master. After my talk with Ciel, I fought the monsters using a temporary sword I bought from the store for fighting using the hazy style taught by Hokuro. This is the world from which his grandfather, Byakuya Araki, came from and was the originator of this style. This style was made specifically for hunting monsters, but takes quite a long time to learn it, so it never became famous outside of Japan. Now only one user is alive, I should meet them while I am here. Soon we reached the entrance of the double dungeon. We decided to vote, and the result was that we would go. When we were in front of the large door, I could sense what was inside the door. Ciel, you sense it too, right? Yes, master. The magicule density is quite high inside the door, and a dark, sinister aura is leaking through the door. The one who made this place must have cloaked the magicule reading somehow. It's not very hard for someone who can use magicule subconsciously, or uses it in a very high stage. I prepared myself, ready to slice any monster who tried to attack us, but upon entering there wasn't any monster. Instead, there were only large statues. Master these statues. I know, Ciel. I can sense huge magicule readings from these statues, especially from the one that is sitting. Everyone started roaming around. Some people went in front of a small statue, which was carrying a stone tablet that had something written on it. Upon closer look, it seemed like instructions for something. Worship the Lord. Praise the Lord. Prove your faith. Those who do not follow these commandments will never return alive. That's what it says. Ju-hee, what happened? Jin-Woo asked her as she was looking frightened. That eyeball just moved, she said, pointing at the statue that was sitting. I also looked. I already could guess what was going to happen when suddenly the doors closed by themselves. Everyone got panicked and confused. One member had enough of this. I am leaving, boss, treasure, whatever, you guys can have it, he said, reaching towards the gate when I saw the guard statues start moving. I used the sprint with the maximum speed I could muster in this body to save him. I pushed him, he was saved. But I wasn't that lucky. A large axe was struck at my legs, and I felt something I didn't feel in the last 100 years. What's this feeling? Oh, right, it's pain. Last time I guess I felt it when I absorbed Veldora in the war against the Eastern Empire, and I lost my consciousness. When my eyes opened, I was in a place. Well, place is not the right word, as there was nothing, not even a ground to stand on. I had nothing to do there, so I just floated until I saw light in this pitch-black void. I started following the light, and that light started to grow until it grew to my size. It took the form of a human girl with black hair and a white dress. When I saw the woman, I was utterly shocked because it couldn't happen. She couldn't be here. She was none other than Shizue Izawa, the first person I lost in that world. "Shizu-san, is that you?" I asked, trying to touch her by hand. "Yes, it's me, Rimuru-san, so how are you? It's been a while, huh?" she asked in her same fluent tone. My hand, which was trying to touch her, I clenched it and pulled back and smiled and said, "You never call me by this name. Shizu-san is free from this mortal plane, so let her enjoy her afterlife in peace, whoever you are." The fake Shizu-san deformed, and a large, bulky humanoid monster formed whose head was burning with black flame. "I am impressed. I had taken a form that would show you the dearest one who you had lost. Never thought you had accepted her death. Not many can get over this." "So who are you, and what is this place?" I asked him. "I should be the one asking you this. But since you asked first, I am Ashborn, monarch of shadows and the one who rules death, and this place is my personal domain where no one without my permission can come. Currently, only your consciousness is here. Your real body is still in the dungeon. Now my turn, who are you?" "My name is Rimuru Tempest, a resident from the other universe." "I know that much. What I am asking is, what are you? You may only have the strength of a low-rank monster, but your posture, your way of talking, and the combination of pride and fearlessness speak something else. You don't feel fear even for a second when I introduce my status. All this cannot be present in someone who is weak." I smiled and said, "You really have sharp eyes. Yes, I am not what I am looking like now. You want answers, right? Then how about a game?" "What kind of game?" he asked curiously. "Simple. I will ask you a question that you have to tell truthfully. Then you ask a question, and I answer. If one of us can't tell the answer, then the question will be changed, but only up to 3 times in one turn of questions. After that, you lose. The loser will have to grant one wish of the winner." The game sounds interesting, but why should I play this game? I can just take the info I need directly from you. It's just a formality I am asking," he said, revealing just a bit of his dense aura, "but that does not work on me." Ciel, calculate his magicule count. He has a near limitless amount of magicules. Must be due to shadow energy. Back to the conversation. "Because you can't. You can't break my mental defenses at all. You proved this when you said that you had taken a form that would show who was dear to me. I was just seeing the person who was dear to me, even you don't know who she was." His flames sparkled. "Heh, you're smart. Okay, I will play this game, but how can I know that you won't lie?" "Soul contract. It's a contract that will bind our souls. Anyone who breaks this contract will have their soul shattered into 1,000,000 pieces. What do you say?" "It's interesting. I am ready, but what are the rules of the contract?" "Simple. No lies. No more than 2 skips in one turn. Third skip means loss. Loser will complete any one wish of the winner." "Good, then my first question is..." Rimuru stopped him before he asked his question. "Wait, you asked the previous question, so I should be asking the first question," Ashborn agreed. "Rimuru, are you the one who created those dungeons?" Ashborn, no, he simply said. He said nothing more because rules state to tell the truth, not explain it. "Why did you come to this universe?" Rimuru, to enjoy this world. Do you know the creator of the dungeons? Ashborn, yes. Why this specific universe for enjoyment? Rimuru, because it's my original world. What's the purpose of creating these dungeons? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, what's your relation with the creators of dungeons? Ashborn, they are my enemy. What do you mean by original world? Rimuru, next question. Ashborn, how powerful are you? Rimuru, next question. Ashborn, how powerful subordinates do you have? Rimuru, currently I don't have. It's true, currently I don't have my subordinates here. How can you control shadow energy? This question surprised him. Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, who is the creator of your universe? This also surprised him. Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, what happened to your creator? Ashborn, he was killed. So this world also lost him, huh? That explains it. I mumbled these lines. Ashborn, what are you mumbling about? Here went one of his questions. Rimuru, about the similarities of your world and my world. Are you the one who created this double dungeon? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, do you know the one who created this double dungeon? Ashborn, yes. Who killed your world's creator? Rimuru, his creation. How did you get your powers? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, who are the strongest beings created by your creator? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, are you the strongest of this world? Ashborn, yes. Who is the strongest in your world? Rimuru, sitting in front of you. What's your relation with the members who entered the double dungeon? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, on whose orders was the double dungeon created? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, are you the one who ordered the creation of a double dungeon? Ashborn, yes. If you're the strongest, then how are you weak now? Rimuru, because of dimensional travel. What's your relation with Sung Jin-Woo? Actually, it's just a hunch, let's see. Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, why did you order the creation of a double dungeon? Ashborn, next question. Rimuru, what do you want from Jin-Woo? Ashborn didn't say anything for a second, and then. Ashborn sighed, I give up, state your wish. And he surrendered. I still had quite a lot of questions. Are you sure you can fulfill my wish? I smugly said. Just ask. It's been a while since I enjoyed like this since the war broke out. So my wish is that you tell me all the answers in detail with reasons for the questions that you have skipped. For a minute he didn't say anything, then suddenly he started chuckling. Quite an impressive tactic this was. Okay, as per the contract I will grant you this wish. So sit tight and listen carefully. Then he started the story of how the creator of this world created monarchs and rulers and pitted them against each other for his own amusement. Rulers had enough, so they rebelled against their creator. Ashborn was against it too, but he couldn't go against the creator, so they attacked him but didn't kill him. Then he awakened his power of summoning the dead. When he went to protect the creator with his power, it was too late, so to get revenge on rulers, he joined hands with monarchs. The dungeon was created by rulers to strengthen the humans so that they could fend off for themselves against monarchs. Ashborn wanted Jin-Woo to succeed him on the throne as the next Shadow Monarch and protect his people. Those who desired power and strength for their whole life know the true value of power, I said. But what rulers did to your creator is justified, so I don't blame them. You're right, I also forgave them for that. But didn't your creator also get killed by his creation? Veldonava's case was different. He desired peace among his creation, but he also wanted them to achieve it on their own, not from some outside interference like gods. He also created beings like monarch and rulers, but gave them separate worlds to live in and a specific duty to fulfill. The world system which he placed upon his world to maintain in his place killed him because he got too much attached to a human woman and got a child with her. He never resurrected himself again. Don't know why, though. So, your creator was Veldonava. I heard about him from our creator. He once said that Veldonava was different from other outer gods. His way of amusement was to see the growth of his creation. Our creator, seeing him, also gave free will to his creation. He died thousands of years ago before I was even born, so I don't know a lot. I just knew about him from my siblings. His death was actually the reason the rebel started. What do you mean? Our creator used to see your world for creating different new creations, and we also used to watch them. We were quite mesmerized by how the god of that world is. Then we saw how the creation went against his creator and killed him. We were shocked, but some got motivation from this, and they started a rebellion. So one of my hypotheses is correct, I said internally. What hypothesis? The reason wormholes were created in the first place and multiversal travel is possible between our worlds is because both our creators died and their energies formed several small holes in the barriers. Also, because the humans were not so strong, they sometimes slipped into my world and some low-ranking monsters like goblins, lesser vampires, lesser dragons, and spirits into this world, which led to the creation of different folklores. I explained my hypothesis. Maybe you're right, but I have one doubt. Why does Veldora never get resurrected again? Unlike our creator, he can, right? Ashborn asked. Yes, he can, but I don't know why he didn't. Even if he is dead, he placed some very powerful beings in his place to protect the world from other outer gods, I said. Other outer gods don't take interest in what other gods are doing or what happened to them. Therefore, I don't think they even got the news that both of our worlds have lost their creators. But that's attention for the far future. Currently, I have a request for you. You're free to decline the request, Ashborn said. First tell me, then I will give you my answer. Shadow Monarch and Void God. Chapter 3, Survival. Jinwoo's POV. Hello, my name is Jin-Woo. Previously in this story, we went inside a dungeon and found a double dungeon. We entered, but suddenly the gates closed automatically from which we came. One member had enough of this and started to leave, but before anyone could blink, the guard statue moved his hand and nearly sliced him off if Rimuru hadn't pushed him away in a split second, but he himself was not lucky. Both his legs were sliced off. Now onto the story. Rimuru and the man were on the ground when another guard statue moved into position to deliver another strike. Before they could attack, a golden string appeared, connecting both the man and Rimuru, pulling them toward us. This string was a skill utilized by a member of our group. Fear was evident in our eyes upon seeing Rimuru's condition. Both of his legs were chopped off. Mr. Song quickly ordered the frozen Juhi to check Rimuru's life sign. Juhi quickly checked Rimuru and said, "He is alive even though his legs are chopped off." He is lucky, but what are they? Almost everyone is a D rank and I am C rank, but we couldn't even manage to see very clearly what happened except Rimuru, Mr. Song said. Wait, if they can move then. I turned to see the statue, which was sitting very hesitantly. Don't tell me that this statue, too. I am an E ranker, constantly fighting for my life in dungeons. Sometimes I get separated from my party, and other times I face starvation. While others trade their magical cores for better weapons to acquire more treasure, I can't afford to do that. Even if I were to buy a cheap sword, I know it would quickly get destroyed, so I've opted to fight with makeshift weapons or just my fists. Perhaps because I frequently find myself on the brink of death, I have developed a keen awareness of death's true presence. Everyone duck, I shouted as my instincts instructed. Some followed while some were slow to react. Those who followed were safe, but those who didn't were not that lucky. A huge ray was fired from the eyes of the statue and incinerated some people. Not even the burnt flesh was left. T2 people are dead, Mr. Park said. Thanks to Jin-Woo's warning, some of us are still alive. Juhi, where is Rimuru? Juhi couldn't speak or think, so I answered in her place. He is still alive. Juhi stabbed him enough, I said, pointing towards the body which was at our side. Mr. Song yelled so that everyone could hear, "Don't stand up, stay in your position." He then came towards us by kneeling. Thanks, Jin-Woo, for warning us. How is Juhi? I don't know. She can't handle fear all that well. That's why she goes with us in basic raids even though she is a B-rank healer. He looked upwards and continued, but this is not a basic raid right now. I then looked at Mr. Song's left hand, which was cut off, and said, "Sir, your arm." I am fine, I just need to stop the bleeding. Can you help me? I helped in binding his cut-off arm with a spare cloth I had. Jin-Woo, what rank do you think it is? I never went to a dungeon above D rank, so I don't know. I too only went to a B rank dungeon once or twice. This place must be higher than a B rank. He then paused and said, "No, there weren't any monsters like here. This place must be an A rank or an S rank." Then the commandments written on the slab came to my mind. Mr. Song, just now was the commandments of the Karthanan temple. The first was to worship the Lord, the second was to praise the Lord, and the last was to prove your faith. Maybe the Lord it was talking about all along was this statue, I said, looking at the statue with absolute dread. Mr. Song then said, "I brought 2 healers because I didn't think it would be needed, but now I know I was wrong. One was incinerated, the other is too frightened to do anything here. We can't move from our places, Jin-Woo. Let's try to run away when the situation clears a bit, although it won't be easy to pull. Everyone was despaired, but one man got courage and stood up. I finally have joined a big guild, so I can't die here. He charged himself while Mr. Song and others were yelling to stop him. Even if I am the only one, I will escape. He'd run with super speed but got incinerated too. Mr. Song was gritting his teeth in anger. These monsters can kill us anytime like squashing bugs, but they aren't. But why? They are not like any other monsters who attack hunters upon sight. I thought he is right. Guard statues only attack when someone reaches the door. Large statue attacks when you move. They attack in a pattern. Wait, pattern, that means. Mr. Song, this dungeon has a set of rules. If we follow, maybe we can survive, I told him. This large statue attacks you, but only when you're at a certain height. Everyone bow TOWRDS the statue. Everyone was yelling at me, saying I had lost my mind, but Mr. Song said, "You figured out something. This statue attacks you if you're above a certain height, but won't if you stoop low. That's what it meant, worship the god. This many people are saved because of you, so there's no harm in believing you again. Everyone do what he says." Everyone reluctantly followed the advice and bowed. A minute later, the eyes stopped glowing. But the statue formed the most sinister smile I could have ever imagined in my life. Its expression changed, someone said. "Hey, look, the attacks have stopped," Mr. Park said. No, it cannot be stopped so easily, because this was only the first commandment, I thought. And my instincts were correct. There was a loud noise coming out of the statue. The sound was made because it was standing up. Everyone, this dungeon has a set of rules. Remember the second commandment and try to think of something. That's the key. I said aloud so that everyone could hear it and started running everywhere except the gates. If by praise you mean singing hymns, then I think I can do that. I used to sing in church choirs, so I'm confident in my ability to sing hymns, a member stated. The statue then began to walk, passing in front of Rimuru, but it ignored him, perhaps because it assumed he was dead. The man began to sing, but the statue didn't stop. It squashed him because he was praising a different god. We all started running in every direction except towards the doors. I looked at the other statues and noticed that not all of them had weapons. Some were holding musical instruments. I had an idea and shouted to everyone, "Everyone, move TOWARDS the statues with musical instruments." "Are you crazy?" some members said. Mr. Song yelled, "Jin-Woo is right, this statue isn't attacking me. Find the statue with the instrument." Upon reaching the statue that held the musical instrument, he sat down in front of it, crying as he exclaimed, "Why did this happen to us? We didn't do anything wrong to others. So why?" I placed Juhi at the statue with the violin because it won't activate when both of us were present. So I started running and finding a statue and finally found one, but Mr. Song shouted, "That's not it, JINWOO." I then realized that the statue was not holding any instrument but a shield, but realization hit hard late. It attacked me, and I lost consciousness. When my eyes opened, I saw that I somehow managed to land near the instrument statue, but there was huge pain in my torso. Fortunately, the statue stopped when the singing started. Mr. Song and Juhi came to give me a shoulder, but Juhi was terrified looking at me, so I asked what happened. She just pointed towards my legs, and then I realized that the pain was actually the chopping off of my right leg. Juhi started healing me, but after some healing, she hit her limit. "Juhi, don't force yourself. I think I am okay now. You have already spent too much mana on Rimuru already. Speaking of Rimuru, where is he?" All my energy was lost, only a bit of it was left. "He is here," Mr. Kim said, carrying Rimuru on his back. "He is okay, but not for too long. He will die without proper medical attention." Juhi's healing is not omnipotent. She can, at some level, stop the life force from leaving the body, but Rimuru's condition is far too severe. It's a miracle he is still alive. I thought internally. "Tusk, we came here with 10 people, but now only 6 of us are left. Song, this all happened because of your decision. You should take responsibility if we survive." Mr. Kim said with quite a lot of frustration, even though he was also the one who made the decision to enter. Hypocrite. I know that and I will take it, Mr. Song simply stated, even though he knew it was not only his fault. Jui gave me her shoulder for support when suddenly the statue moved his hand upward. We thought it was going to attack us, but instead of that, a platform was lifted from the ground. What's that? Mr. Park asked. An altar, I said. An altar. An altar is used to offer sacrifices to God. That's what the third and last commandment was. Prove your faith. So Jin-Woo, what you're saying is that we have to offer a sacrifice, right? Kim then took out his sword and pointed it at Mr. Song. Song, you wanted to take responsibility, right? Then prove it right now. Put that sword away, Kim. I will walk to the altar myself, he said and started moving towards the altar. We decided to enter by voting. This is cowardly for us to force Mr. Song to take the blame. When Mr. Song stood at the altar, fire formed in the circle. Can someone take me to the altar, please? I have to check something. Jui helped me. I saw the altar and thought, so that means. Everyone come here. They were surprised. The total number of fire corresponds to the surviving members, so I think we need everyone present here to make something happen. Everyone was hesitant but eventually agreed. They placed Rimuru on the ground. As soon as the last member stepped into the altar, a circle of blue fire appeared and the door opened. Confusion spread among the group. As if on cue, guard statues began to move toward us but would halt when we looked at them, only to continue moving when we turned away. I can't take it anymore. I have a child and pregnant wife to take care of, sorry guys. Mr. Park said. He started running towards the gate. We thought he would die, but he ran past through the gate. Jin-Woo, thanks to you we are alive. I never thought of you as much more than a weakling, but you are the bravest of us all. I am alive because of you. So thanks, but I have a family. I cannot die here. I cannot die. And Mr. Kim ran. We only screamed at him to stop, but he didn't listen. That bastard. Don't give the crap about having a family. I too have a family to take care of. Your family can at least live without you, unlike mine. Hypocrite bastard. I was cursing that bastard when Mr. Song said, Jin-Woo, Juhi, you guys should leave. Mr. Song. The doors won't shut if one of us stays behind. You still have many more years to live than I do, so you should be the ones to leave this place. At least take Rimuru with you. He is still a kid. Juhi flopped down at that same time. My legs are not working. Are you low on mana? A slight whisper was heard. What's happening? You're alive. We all screamed out. He looked at his surroundings. SOE, everyone is dead, huh? Yeah, I said, but Mr. Song can take you with him from this dungeon. Jin-Woo, what are you saying? You should be the one who should go. Mr. Song, you are the only one whose legs are working. Either take Juhi or Rimuru. Decide quickly. Take Juhi with you, Rimuru said in low voice. I don't think I will be alive before exiting this dungeon. At least one of you should leave. Please, Mr. Song, do it quickly. Juhi was reluctant to leave, but Mr. Song, with a sad face, hit her pressure point in the back and took her. There were tears in their eyes. Don't you have a family, Jin-Woo? Why? You should be the one to go, Rimuru said with a small smile on his face. I replied, if I knew this was going to happen, I would have signed a life insurance. But don't you have a family too, Rimuru? You're quite young. No one is in this world, but there are some people who I want to see one last time before leaving this world, And he became unconscious. Maybe he used the last of his strength in the conversation. Poor kid, no one is alive in this world but still brave. If I am going down, then I will take one of you with me, I stated, pointing a sword left by Kim at them. But what could a weakling like me do against such monsters? The spear pierced right into my chest, and I lay flat on the altar. They all gathered in the circle and got ready to kill me. Just one chance. Just give one chance to become strong. If there is really a God, then please, I beg you, give me just one chance to become stronger for my family. Just before the spear touched him, everything was stopped. A ding sound sounded, and a pop-up came in front of me. Is this some kind of chance I was wishing for? I don't have a chance anyway. All right, make me a player. Shadow Monarch and Void God. Chapter 4, Dungeon. Narrator's POV. The story begins within the walls of a hospital, where Jin-Woo lies unconscious. A few seconds later, he abruptly wakes up, breathing heavily and drenched in sweat. As he struggles to regain his composure, memories of how everyone left him to die flood his mind. Just before he faced death, a notification appeared before him. Was that just a dream? It is highly unlikely. It felt far too real to be a dream. He glances out of the window. Am I in a hospital right now? At that moment, two men enter the room. Mr. Sung, have you fully regained consciousness? One of them asks. Yes, but who exactly are you? Jin-Woo replies firmly. We apologize for the lack of introduction. Here is our business card. He hands over a card from the Hunter Association surveillance team. We are investigating the double dungeon case. We wanted to ask you some questions about it as soon as possible, but you have been unconscious for 3 days. 3 days? Are Mr. Song and Jui safe? Jin-Woo demands, his concern evident. They are safe. However, Mr. Song lost his arm, which may have prevented him from continuing his career as a hunter. Ms. Juhi has experienced significant trauma and will require therapy. Regarding the other members, before he could relay further information, Jin-Woo interrupted. No, that is enough. I do not need to hear more, Jin-Woo asserted. Only 6 people survived the double dungeon. We know that this job carries a lot of danger with it, but disasters such as this rarely happen. After receiving the report, we sent the White Tiger Guild and surveillance team to check. But by the time we arrived, there was nothing except you lying on the altar with blood all over you, and Jin-Woo again stopped him. What about Rimuru? He was also with me. I was coming there. He was also there with you. Currently, he is in the next room. He hasn't gained consciousness, so we will come again when he does. Now where we left off, there was nothing. No stone statues and no bodies. We would have considered other possibilities if there had been the slightest discrepancy in the survivors' accounts or if we hadn't found body parts at the scene. He paused and said, It's just a guess, but I think you have a reawakening. A reawakening. The term reawakening speaks for itself. Due to extreme conditions and emotional triggers, a hunter can experience a double awakening, which is quite rare and typically results in a rank or 2 boost. This is a mana meter that can calculate your mana levels. Please place your hand on it, he instructed. Jin-Woo extended his hand, and the meter displayed a reading of just 10. The other member taking the reading scoffed silently, thinking, what a loser. Even an average E-ranker has a score between 70 and 100. He then said, Sorry, Mr. Sung, it seems we've taken up quite a bit of your time. I hope you recover soon. With that, he packed up his equipment and left the room with his partner. Jin-Woo felt disheartened. I got excited for nothing. But couldn't they see this? Maybe not. He glanced at the holographic screen suspended in the air before looking down at his legs. My leg has fully regenerated. I was stabbed badly in the chest, but it doesn't look like I have any wounds. Could this be because of the awakening? He tried to touch the screen just as the door slid open. Jin-Woo, what are you doing? Don't tell me you hit your head too. It was Jinna, Jin-Woo's little sister. She added, I swear, if you get hospitalized again, I will quit school and get a job so you can stop being a hunter. Jin-Woo thought, was I really going to leave my little sister all alone? What a loser I am. He replied, Sorry, Jinna, I won't be reckless anymore. By the way, can you see this? He pointed to the floating screen. See what? She asked, puzzled. Never mind. When you have unread messages in the game, how do you check them? Did you hurt your brain? Anyway, first you have to open the message box. Thank you, Jinna. Never mind. Get well soon, Jin-Woo. She turned and left with her friend waiting outside. Open the message box, he commanded, looking at the screen. Quest info. Daily quest, to become the strongest. GOLS. Push-ups, 0/100. Sit-ups, 0/100. Squats, 0/100. Running, 0/10 km. Caution, failure to complete the quest will result in a penalty. Several pop-ups appeared and he exclaimed, "I don't understand any of this. What's this? Daily quest to become stronger. Open. Is this some kind of joke? I'm really tired, so I think I'll go to sleep." Ignoring the messages, he dismissed them as a prank, unaware of the consequences of his neglect. At midnight, a portal opened and Jin-Woo was sucked in. This was a penalty for failing to complete the daily quest. He found himself in an entirely different dimension, facing monsters that could easily kill high-ranking hunters in mere moments for a grueling 4 hours. Somehow, he managed to survive. With newfound determination, Jin-Woo resolved never to ignore the daily quests again. Somewhere else. He shouldn't have put such a difficult penalty on Jin-Woo, Rimuru said, looking at the moon from the window. It was just to scare him. They didn't create such a system just to kill him on his first day. You're right. Anyway, in front of Hakuro's training and punishment, this penalty is nothing. Even Gobta and Gobzu from Orc Lord Time can hunt all of these penalty monsters in an hour. By the way, have you prepared for the first phase of the plan? Yes, Master. Tomorrow morning I will split my corps into 2 parts. 80% of me will leave and handle the first phase, which may take some time, maybe a year at most. The second will be with you. This 20% will take care of the system and will also level up with you, starting from Great Sage. Good. On signal, the second phase should also begin. All right, Master. Didn't think this would happen on my vacation, but this is still so much more exciting than the never-ending paperwork. Tomorrow I am going to wake up officially, so I should take a good night's rest, Rimuru said and went to bed. Back to Jin-Woo. He was exhausted from completing the quest. Last night's horror scene was the reason he put in double the effort. Finally done. Now let's see what rewards I got. What is this? Status recovery. As he said this, a green light enveloped him and all of his fatigue was gone. Wow, this is quite a useful reward. Now random loot box. A box appeared on his palms and upon opening it, it contained a pencil. Not all rewards are useful. Next are points. Where should I invest it? Maybe strength. His strength, which was 10, increased to 11. I should return to my room, or else nurses will again scold me. He entered the hallway and started moving towards his room, but before his room, Rimuru's room was there. Maybe I should visit Rimuru too. Upon entering, he was surprised because Rimuru was sitting on his bed and looked at Jin-Woo with confusion in his eyes. Jin-Woo, is that you? Jin-Woo, without a second's hesitation, ran inside the room. Sorry, Rimuru, because of us, you got yourself almost killed. Don't cough, worry. I am alive all because of you. But can you please tell me who treated my legs? I don't think I can return or afford this gratitude. I don't know. Even my leg and arm were cut off in the dungeon, but when I woke up, I was completely fit and fine. Before Jin-Woo and Rimuru could talk further, doctors came in. Hello, Mr. Rimuru and Mr. Sung. I am sorry for disturbing your conversation, but can you please wait outside, Mr. Sung? I have to run some diagnostics here. Hope you understand. I understand, Jin-Woo said. He bowed and left the room. Outside the room, he met the same association members as yesterday. Good morning, Mr. Jin-Woo, Jai-Chul and other members said. Good morning to you too. How is Mr. Rimuru? He just woke up. Doctors are examining him right now, Jin-Woo replied. They waited for a few minutes for the doctor to come out, and when the doctor came out, they went in. Jin-Woo again just waited outside. A few minutes later, they also came out. Jin-Woo entered. So what did they ask you? Just that, I remember what happened in the dungeon and how both of us survived. Didn't they check if you got reawakened? They checked, my readings increased, Rimuru said happily. Jin-Woo also got excited. But only 1 point, Rimuru said. This part was sad. Jin-Woo, who was about to jump, took a minute to process. Honestly, I wanted to get a reawakening, but not just this much. At least increase my rank to C. I know that feeling. I also want to get a better rank, at least a D rank like you, Jin-Woo said. Dude, D rank itself is not any better than your rank. The profits of a D rank are not that much. The only thing good is that you can go to a C rank dungeon with a party. Even then, the profits are minimal. Maybe you're right, but still, wait, how do you know all of this? I thought you said you just started. My friend Ciel told me. That explains it, Jin-Woo said, pausing to catch his breath as he gathered his thoughts. The weight of his words hung in the air, a mix of concern and understanding etched on his face. I know what it's like to stare death in the face, especially on your very first day in this perilous world. You have so much life ahead of you, and I genuinely believe you should consider stepping away from the hunter's path. Rimuru took a moment, his expression resolute as he met Jin-Woo's gaze. You're right, I've danced with death, he began, his voice steady and filled with conviction. But that encounter was born from my own shortcomings. I've spent my entire life training, pouring every ounce of my being into becoming stronger. To surrender now would mean I couldn't bear to look at myself in the mirror. So, if confronting death is the price I must pay to attain true strength, then I will face it head-on. His tone was inspiring, radiating fierce determination as he spoke. Shit, was that over-dramatic? Even though I am a ruler for so long, I can't give proper speeches to other people besides my people even now. King Gazel will be so disappointed in me. Jin-Woo placed his hand on Rimuru's shoulder and said, just don't overdo it. Says the one who always overdoes. Jin-Woo smiled and left the room. Somewhere else. In a dark void castle where everything is covered in darkness, with the only source of light being dimly lit blue-colored glowing crystals, two beings were present, one on a throne and the other in front of him standing. Lord Ashborn, may I know why you let this blue-haired human live? The one standing, known as the architect, the creator of the system, asked. Just look at him. Can you sense or detect his soul? The one sitting on the throne said. The architect concentrated for a minute and said, No, Lord Ashborn. That's because he is already dead. I made one of my strongest shadow soldiers possess his body. May I know the reason for this? Think carefully, architect. Rulers already know that I need a vessel, and they will try their best to eliminate him before he gains much power. Ashborn said. I see, but this individual's powers are not that much. How can he protect your vessel from the rulers and monarchs? I made him seal all his power. If a powerful being roams around with the weakest hunter, then that will garner more attention. His power will grow as my vessel grows. Now do you understand? I understand, he said and started leaving when Ashborn stopped him. Wait, there is one more thing. You might not be able to track him, and his future actions will be unpredictable for you, but remember that what he will do will be for my vessel's growth. I understand, Lord Ashborn. Now please let me take my leave. Back to hospital. Rimuru's POV. As the day unfolded and I found a moment of solitude, I decided to summon the Great Sage. Great Sage, are you there? Yes, Master, so are you ready for the game? A wave of nostalgia washed over me as I recalled the thrill of embarking on adventures past. It felt oddly familiar, reminiscent of a time when I was filled with boundless power. In an instant, a series of pop-ups flickered into existence before me, mirroring the interface I had seen through Jin-Woo's system. I took a deep breath, filled with confidence, and replied, yes. All right then, here's your status and first task of the day. As the Great Sage's voice resonated in my mind, two gleaming pop-ups materialized. I focused on the first, a status window which was humbling and modest compared to my previous immeasurable abilities. Notice, your stat level will be the average of all your skill levels. So, basic exercises are on the agenda, huh? Correct. Failure to complete quests will result in a penalty. A shiver ran down my spine as I recalled Ciel's penchant for devising punishments that could haunt me. I realized the urgency of my situation. The exercises needed to commence immediately. Without hesitation, I joined Jin-Woo in his own daily training regimen. He was blissfully unaware that I was engaging in this splendor not just for camaraderie, but also to fulfill my own quest. I casually explained that I was inspired by his dedication to getting stronger. Although our systems operated differently, there was an underlying parallel to our quests. My own system rewarded me with 100 gold coins for every daily quest completed, currency I could utilize to upgrade my strength and enhance my skills. However, my low stats limited my shopping options. The only item available for purchase was a dungeon key, which felt like a cruel joke. I would need to reach at least level 25 before I could buy weapons or potions, but I could acquire skills even at my current level. As I accumulated coins, I saved diligently to acquire a D-rank gate key, though they were prohibitively expensive. Finally, after a week of dedication, I managed to purchase one. I got permission from the receptionist to leave the hospital for a day and headed straight to the dungeon. As I crossed the threshold, I was enveloped by darkness, the surroundings echoing the eerie atmosphere. This dungeon was based on sealed cave. I walked my way into the dungeon to find my first opponent. While walking, I sensed something from above me, so I quickly ducked. When I turned back, I saw who attacked me. It was a D-D rank monster, a black spider. It spat web on me, but I quickly rolled to my left to avoid getting captured. I can easily hunt it down, but I currently don't have a weapon. Guess I will have to fight it barehanded. I dashed at the spider. It started spitting webs on me, but I easily dodged it and jumped above it, punching straight into its head. This caused the spider's whole skull to get crushed. Well, I can fight using my fists, but the sword is much preferable to me. Soon more spiders started spawning, and a pop-up opened. I prepared myself and embarked on a hunting spree. For a moment, it seemed like the black spiders were gaining the upper hand due to their sheer numbers. However, by using the hazy style, I managed to level the playing field. In just 15 minutes, I eliminated the required number of black spiders, but they kept spawning, so I continued hunting. Unfortunately, due to the continuous assaults, my fatigue reached 60. When the onslaught finally stopped, I took a break and checked my status window. Multiple pop-ups appeared. You've leveled up. You've leveled up. A sticky steel thread skill is an incredibly useful skill, not just for binding. It can also be used as a trap and is effective for thought communication in areas where technology fails. This skill belongs to Sui and his team and is vital for espionage. The sword has taken quite a lot of damage. I either need to repair it or get a new one, but where can I do either? Let's think about that later. It can still hold on for now. I then moved deeper into the dungeon, where I encountered many black spiders. Eventually, my level increased enough that I stopped gaining experience from hunting them. At one point, the spiders ceased to appear, and I realized it was time for stronger monsters. As I entered the second floor of the dungeon, a menacing growl echoed through the darkness. I knew I had to be cautious as I ventured further into the unknown depths. Great Sage, invest 4,500 coins to upgrade Magic Sense to level 10, and invest 5,000 coins to upgrade Strength and Agility equally. Magic Sense LV, 1 right arrow LV, 10, Strength LV, 5 right arrow LV, 9, Agility LV, 5 right arrow LV, 8. Using my enhanced Magic Sense, I located my next opponent, the Armorsaurus, a mid-D rank monster known for its exceptional armor. Notice the sword has taken too much damage. Repairing it is advised. My sword is too damaged. There's no way I can beat its defense barehanded. Great Sage, how can I repair my sword? You need to level up to 15 to access the repair shop. Currently, you are at level 12. That means I have to fight until I level up. I just hope my sword doesn't break. Wait a minute, there's another way to defeat them. Upgrade Sticky Steel Thread Skill to LV, 10. Sticky Steel Thread Skill has been upgraded from LV, 1 right arrow LV, 10. I used my Sticky Steel Thread to bind the Armorsaurus, and with a single flick of my fingers, I decapitated them all. I leveled up quite easily with this strategy. Great Sage, open the repair shop and repair my sword. You need 2 magic ore to repair the sword, and 2 magic steel to upgrade it. If I search thoroughly, this place is full of magic ore. So I continued to use my sticky steel thread to defeat monster after monster. Great Sage, what's the total number of coins I have? A total of 27,500 coins. Buy the Predator skill from the skill shop. 15,000 coins are spent to buy the skill. The remaining coins are 12,500. Now use Predator to devour all the corpses of Armasora. A black cloud emerged from Rimuru's hands, engulfing everything in its path. Due to the low level of the skill, the breakdown rate is only 1%. You cannot absorb the skills of the monsters, and converting their corpses into magicules is also not possible. Instead, sell the monster corpses in the shop and use the money to upgrade the skill. All the corpses are sold, and the coins obtained are used on upgrading the skill, which is now at LV 10. Then use Predator to devour all of the magic steel present here. I started gobbling all the magic steel present. When I ate several steels, I was informed that I had obtained a magic cluster, a very high-grade magic ore that is more valuable and useful than a magic steel. There are several types of ore in the cardinal world other than magic steel, which are mithril, orichalcum, adamantite, dragotite, hierarchane, and starheart. With starheart and hierarchane considered mythical ores, which do not exist in any world according to legends, only higher-level beings can create them. Great Sage, upgrade my sword using magic cluster. Upgrade done. Now your sword has been upgraded to a special grade sword. Weapons and armor have been ranked using their grade of rarity. Common right arrow, special right arrow, rare right arrow, unique right arrow, legend right arrow, god right arrow, Genesis. Now onto the story. With the killing of all the Armosoras and the collection of all the magic steel, I then headed towards the boss room. But before that, I bought Pain Nullification and Regeneration LV 01. Regeneration will increase HP 1 point every 2 seconds and will exponentially increase during sleep. My opponent loomed before me, a massive night spider that dwarfed any black spider I had ever faced. Its formidable form stretched up to a staggering 20 feet, its long, spindly legs glinting menacingly in the light. With bated breath, I crept forward, ready to launch my attack. But as I moved in for the strike, it sensed my approach, flicking its numerous legs with alarming speed to counter my advance. I quickly dodged to the side, but the force of its strike created a powerful impact that reverberated through the ground, sending shockwaves radiating outward and shaking the very earth beneath me. The legs of a night spider are exceptionally sharp, resembling the finest blades, and possess the ability to slice through large tree trunks with just one strike. Therefore, it is important to exercise caution to avoid injury from these formidable features. Drawing on my momentum and quick calculations, I swiftly regained my footing, narrowly evading the vicious strikes of the night spider. The air was thick with tension as I scanned my surroundings, taking in every detail before deciding my next course of action. The creature's multifaceted eyes gleamed with a sharp intelligence, a stark reminder that this would be no ordinary fight. It positioned itself with a calculated poise, ready to anticipate my every move, making it clear that victory would require more than sheer strength. It would demand strategy and wit. I used my momentum and calculation to get back on my feet and dodge its attacks. I quickly assessed the situation before making my next move. The night spider's eyes glinted with intelligence, making it clear that this would not be an easy battle. I used my sticky steel thread as a grappling hook to reach onto its head and strike a decisive blow, but the exoskeleton was much stronger than I anticipated. It then threw me from its back. I balanced myself, but it again started attacking. It may not look like it, but it can move much more freely than a normal human can. Great Sage, what should I do? Please invest coins in Magic Sense for better visual analysis. Okay then, invest 5,000 coins in Magic Sense. Magic Sense has been upgraded to level 10. According to analysis, it has a tough exoskeleton all over its body except its limbs for movement. Please attack its joints. Thank you. Just as Great Sage advised me, I attacked first at its front right legs. Because of Magic Sense, I can see its attack very clearly. One by one I attacked all of its legs and it fell. Using a powerful thrust, I stabbed my sword at its head. You've leveled up. You've leveled up. I checked all of my equipment and rewards, then placed my hand on the boss's corpse and used the predator's skill. Notice, due to insufficient levels of the skill, the corpse of the night spider cannot be devoured. Upgrade it with all the coins I have. Save 10,000 coins for future use. Understood. The predator's skill has been upgraded to LV 25. Now you only have 10,000 coins. Then devour it all. Everything has been devoured. Things obtained are night spider scales, exoskeleton, limbs, fluids, mane, and leather. Looks like I have done my job here. Let's head back to the hospital. Jin-Woo would have also arrived right now. Shadow Monarch and Void God. Chapter 5, Lizards. JINWO's POV. Hello, my name is Sung Jin-Woo, also known as the weakest hunter of all mankind, but not forever. In an unfortunate incident inside a double dungeon, I was offered a way to become stronger on the brink of death, and I accepted it. It was a week ago, and yesterday I went to my first dungeon prepared by the system, where I killed the boss and rose in levels. Right now, I was completing my daily quest when I heard the nurse's voice. Excuse me, oh my God. Sorry. I quickly stood up and started wearing the hospital shirt. No, I should be apologizing for that. She said that, not looking directly at my eyes. She then continued and asked, "You're being discharged today, right?" I replied, "Yes." "Won't you mind giving me your number?" she asked. Must be to send me my medical reports later. I thought and then said, "Sure, why not?" We exchanged numbers and I asked her, "By the way, is the other patient, Rimuru, also being discharged today?" "Oh right, he is." Outside the hospital. Rimuru and I were outside the hospital when he stretched his hands to feel the outside world. He then said, "If you ask me, I was never a fan of long hospital stays." I chuckled and said, "Neither do I, but it became some kind of habit of me to come here on regular basis. By the way, where did you go yesterday?" He replied, "I went house hunting. It took me a very long time to find a cheap and good apartment." "So straight home?" I asked. "No, first I want some furniture and appliances for home. Therefore, I will be busy today too." "Okay then, good luck with your shopping and moving in." I wished him well as he prepared to leave the hospital. "Thanks," he replied with a smile before heading out too. Time skip next day. I went straight to my bed after coming home in the evening and slept till the next day. I woke up and headed for coffee when I saw Jinna heading for school. "Yon hey Jinna heading for school?" I asked. She replied, "Yeah." She then examined me and asked, "Are you exercising or something? Because you look a lot more buffed up." "Yeah, a little bit of a workout." "Okay then, see ya. By the way, greet our new neighbor. He said he knew you, but you were sleeping like a log when he moved in yesterday." Jinna said before heading off to school. I made a mental note to introduce myself to the new neighbor later that day. I then got a phone call. When I picked it up, "Hey, JINWOO, why weren't you answering MY calls?" I sweat dropped, sorry for not answering. You see, I got into an accident. "Oh, I see. Anyway, I called you for this month's rent. If you can't pay now, then I can give you some month's time." "No need for that. I will deposit money when I get time." "Okay then," and he hung up. A second awakening, huh? I said to myself. If I get a higher rank, then I can easily earn more money, but if word gets out that there's a hunter who can constantly level up, I would certainly attract a lot more unwanted attention. I should wait a little bit more. As I was thinking about all that, the bell of my apartment rang. When I opened the door, I was surprised because the person at the door was none other than Rimuru. "Hey Jin-Woo, how is it going?" he said. Oh hey Rimuru, how did you get my address?" "Heh, I am your new neighbor. Talk about coincidence." "Sure it is. Come inside and have some drinks." We both went inside the house and sat on the couches. "So how did the shifting go?" "I didn't buy unnecessary things, just a TV, a sofa, a bed, a fridge, and some cooking appliances. So it didn't take much time. But as a result, I don't have much money left. Tell me if you find any hunting jobs." I replied, "Sure." Suddenly, a message popped up on my phone and I smiled. "It looks like your wish has been granted. Here, take a look," I said, showing him the message. Somewhere else, evening. We both were at a construction site looking for someone when we heard a voice. "Hey, over here." We both went towards the voice and were met with a bulky man and some people. The man introduced himself. "Hello, I'm Hwang Dongsuk. Nice to meet you too. I'm Sung Jin-Woo, and he is Rimuru Tempest. As we talked over in the call, you won't get Essence Stone, but we'll get 2,000,000 won each for just filling the quota. In my opinion, it's a pretty sweet deal, don't you think?" "Yeah," we both said. "Okay then, sign this contract," he said, taking out a contract form. As he was giving us the form, I took a glance at them and felt quite a lot of bloodlust. He then took the contract from us after we signed it and went to talk to his pals. Rimuru poked me and whispered, "Did you feel it too?" Yeah, it was a very ominous feeling. As we were talking, someone came towards us and said, "Hey, I think the three of us are just for group filling, huh?" This voice belonged to a boy, who must be 2-3 years younger than me, in shiny armor. "Hello, I'm Yu Jinho, a D-rank hunter. I'm not their usual strike squad. They just recruited me just like you," he said. Seeing his armor, I thought, just what kind of D-ranker can afford such fancy armor? Is he a son of some business tycoon or something? Rimuru then went to ask Dongsuk about what we should do. He replied, "Just carry those bags. Inside them are our lunch boxes, spare clothes, some equipment, a first aid kit, a bit of this and that." I, in little surprise, asked, "Are we going in without a healer?" He smiled and said, "That's how we usually do." Jinho smiled and said, "Hey, don't worry, I will protect you." To which I just sweat dropped. Time skip inside the dungeon. RMURU's POV. We entered the dungeon, but strangely the cave was dark. Normally, there were lighting in the dungeon due to glowing crystals. The mage of the team ignited a fireball for light. More strange was that there weren't any magic beasts in the dungeons. "Hey, is it normal for a dungeon to not have some magic beasts?" Jinho asked. I replied, "No, usually, lower-rank monsters attack without thinking, but monsters with intelligence tend to hide and attack sneakily." Jin-Woo asked, "Rimuru, this must be your second dungeon, so how do you know that?" I replied, "I didn't have anything interesting to kill time in the hospital, so I read Dungeon and Monster Guide by the association. This dungeon, its designs and patterns are similar to a species with intelligence that can easily navigate in the dark. Wait a minute, could it be?" Jin-Woo also reached the same conclusion when he yelled with me, "It's an insect-type monster." "Everyone take positions, look for any possible ambush," the team leader said. I heightened my magic sense and found that a group of ants was going to come directly above us. They are above us. They all moved away from the possible ambush points and started hunting the ant-type monsters. Mages started burning the ants using fire magic. The leader used his skill, provocation, to make ants attack him blindly. These C-rankers are quite experienced in team battles. Maybe that's why they don't need a healer. Even Jinho, who has 0 experience, is compensating using his armor and weapons. They were killing while Jin-Woo was just observing them. I also took out my special grade sword and started easily slicing them in half, which was very boring. In the meantime, I saw Jin-Woo easily kicked an ant using just his right leg. 5 to 10 minutes later, all the ants were killed, and the essence stones were distributed among the 9 of us. The team leader approached us and said, "How did you know where these beasts are coming from?" Jin-Woo and I replied, "Just a hunch." "You have good instincts. I hope they don't catch up on something unnecessary." "What?" Suddenly someone yelled, "Hey, Donjhuk, come take a look at this." He went to his comrades and looked at the monsters he was showing. It looks like a monster bite, not a sword slash nor a magic blast. It was torn in half, maybe by the boss. Suddenly his aura became more ominous, and I knew what he was thinking. No matter which world I go to, people like them will always be present who will kill anyone for their greed. After walking for some time, we found the boss's lair, which was covered in spiders' webs. Upon entering the lair, we found that the boss was sleeping, and around it was a mountain of mana crystals, which made them drool. Wow, look, Donsuk, these crystals may not have that much mana compared to essence stones, but with this much, we could get roughly 1,000,000,000 one, a member said. In my world, magic crystal and magic ore are much better quality than these mana crystals, because magic ores of my world are formed due to continuous exposure to magicules of several high-ranked boss monsters for years. But these mana crystals are just exposed by a single boss monster for just some years. Also, this world hasn't even tapped into the full capabilities of these crystals. Another member said, hey, 1,000,000,000 divided by 9 will still give 100,000,000 each to 9 of us. Hearing this, Jin-Ho asked Jin-Woo, Mr. Jin-Woo, can you give me your contract? I asked him, why do you want that? I can help him get more money, he replied. I don't think you should do that. Jin-Woo then said, Rimuru, we both can guess what's going to happen here, so let him do what he wants. I sighed and said, okay kid, do what you want. He got confused but did what he wanted and went towards the team leader and said that Jin-Woo's contract stated that he wouldn't get essence stones, but there wasn't anything that said he wouldn't get mana crystals. In reply, Dongsuk said, you're right, but you see, we have to mine these crystals before defeating the boss. Unfortunately, we didn't bring the mining equipment. So, you three guard this place until we get the equipment. What, just the three of us? Jin-Ho exclaimed. Don't worry, we can, I said. I knew what they were planning, so it was useless to argue. Okay then, we will meet in a few minutes. As soon as he got out of the entrance, the door blasted, blocking our exit. Jin-Ho screamed in horror, but not Jin-Woo and me. Narrator's POV. The sound of the explosion was so massive that it woke up the boss, who was a giant spider. Jin-Woo thought, seeing this monster, countless eyes, far-reaching legs, and a body as big as a house. This monster is on a whole different level but nothing compared to that statue. While Rimuru thought, similar to that of the night spider I defeated along with some features. Mr. Rimuru and Mr. Jin-Woo, please stay behind me, I can protect you, Jin-Ho said, unsheathing his sword. Rimuru and Jin-Woo stepped forward and said in unison, Jin-Ho, stay put, I will take care of it. Rimuru and Jin-Woo looked at each other in surprise. Are you sure? They again said in unison. Yeah, I am sure. Rimuru chuckled and said, there is a secret I haven't told you yet, Jin-Woo, but I promise, after this I will tell you. Okay then, actually I also have a secret. They both locked eyes onto the spider and charged at the spider. In response, the spider also lunged towards them. Rimuru, while charging forward, said, I take the left, you take the right. Jin-Woo nodded and took out his dagger from the inventory. Before the boss could stomp on any one of them, Rimuru swiftly dodged to the left, and Jin-Woo skillfully maneuvered to the right, launching a coordinated attack on the spider. The boss let out a deafening screech as they struck with precision. They turned back and jumped onto the spider to launch multiple consecutive onslaughts, determined to defeat the boss once and for all. Their teamwork and quick thinking were proving to be a formidable combination against the powerful spider. The battle raged on as they fought with all their might to emerge victorious. Notice, title, Arachnid Slayer has taken its effect. Now you can deal 25% more damage. The boss shook them off from its back, which made them land on the ground. Without wasting time, the boss monster tried to stab Rimuru using one of its legs. Fortunately, Rimuru blocked it with his sword. Unfortunately, his sword broke due to multiple onslaughts. He looked at Jin-Ho, who was dreading the thought that Rimuru and Jin-Woo could be psychopathic false rankers. Rimuru then used his sticky steel thread to grab Jin-Ho's sword for use. With a swift motion, Rimuru expertly wielded Jin-Ho's sword, now infused with his own unique abilities. Together, they continued their fierce battle against the boss monster, determined to emerge victorious. After 10 minutes, Jin-Woo's fatigue had reached 50, but he was still fighting. Suddenly, the boss monster vomited a dark green fluid, which quickly corroded the rocks. Great Sage, upgrade my agility. Upgrade successful. Now your agility has leveled to LV 30. Before boss could again use its liquid acid, Rimuru swiftly dodged using his agility and stabbed the jaw of the spider, rendering his acid useless. Jin-Woo also used his speed to land multiple strikes, but due to his fatigue reaching 75, he couldn't dodge a strike from the leg of the boss. In desperation, Jin-Woo used status recovery on himself to dodge an attack. Rimuru and Jin-Woo, seeing a small opening, coordinated their attacks to take down the boss monster once and for all on its head. Jin-Woo struck its Kasaka's Venom Fang skill on the boss, which will deplete 1% of its HP every second. He and Rimuru did not stop striking its head countless times. The creature let out a final roar before crumbling to the ground, defeated. They both sighed in relief and took their weapons aside. They both were happy that they had defeated the boss monster as well as leveled up quite a bit. While on the other side, Jinho was terrified. He was certain that Jin-Woo and Rimuru were false rankers, so he did what any sane person would do. He picked up the bag and respectfully said to both of them, Pardon me. Would you like me to carry these essence stones, sirs?" "Sir," both thought in unison. Jinho quickly took out water bottles from the bag and said, "Here, take this. You both would be thirsty." They both accepted the bottles and drank it while Jinho said, "In the meantime, I will mine the essence stones." "So the mining equipment was always in the bags, those jerks," Rimuru said. "So would you tell me how you became so much more powerful?" Jin-Woo asked. "First you tell me how you—" Before Rimuru could ask, the blocked entrance opened up again. From the entrance came Dongsuk and his gang, who were surprised seeing them. "What, you are still alive?" Dongsuk said. "That damn spider must be big in only size if these low rankers can defeat it. I guess with an armor like that, even someone like a D rank can beat a C rank boss." A member looking at Dongsuk asked, "What should we do?" Dongsuk thought for a second and said, "We have to make that Jinho our ally." He looked at Jinho and said, "You Jinho, we did a little research and found out that you're the son of Yujin Construction's chairman, Yu Myung-hin." "So what?" Jinho hesitantly said. "We will give you a chance to live if you kill Sung Jinwoo." "What?" Jinho exclaimed. "Kill him and become our accomplice to survive." Dongsuk then looked at Rimuru, who was nonchalant just listening, and said, "This deal applies to you too. I didn't get any info on you, but your swordsmanship is impressive, so become an ally and you will swim in cash." A member smugly then said, "What are you waiting for? Don't you love your life?" Jin-Woo then said, "It's okay. I knew you'd betray me if I were weak." Rimuru didn't say anything and waited for Jinho's response. And Jinho responded with defiance, "You bastard, like hell I would betray him." Rimuru smirked and said, "That's what I want to hear. You scumbags, keep your money to yourselves. I won't take cash which is stained in betrayal and blood." A member then asked Dongsuk, "What should we do?" "Shame, rid of that weakling first. I will take care of these two." He unsheathed his sword and released his bloodlust and said, "Have you ever killed anyone?" Rimuru internally thought, is he really asking that to someone who massacred 20,000 humans without remorse in a blink of an eye? A member lunged at Jin-Woo to blast him off. Before Jin-Woo could retaliate, a message popped up which utterly shocked him. As a result, he got blasted into the wall. "Mr. Jinwoo," Jinho exclaimed. Rimuru calmly said, "Don't worry, he is still alive and well." The member who blasted laughed and said, "Oi, are you blind? That blast is powerful enough to kill you, let alone an E-ranker." As he was saying that, Jin-Woo stood up from the pile of rocks. Jin-Woo in his mindscape thought, "What an idiot I am. Just because I survived that double dungeon and got this system, I thought that this dungeon was safe. This system is trying to make me commit murder, to protect me. This isn't an act of goodwill. This system needs me." He then released his menacing aura and said slowly, "If the system uses me, Then I will use the system too. He then moved forward and said to the members, the only ones who should kill are those who are prepared to be killed. A member said, what are you talking about? Rimuru then said, he is saying since you call yourselves hunters, are you prepared to be hunted? Dongsuk, let me handle this, a member said, approaching Jin-Woo. He placed his hand on Jin-Woo's shoulder and said, look, buddy, I think you still don't understand the situation. Before he could say anything, Jin-Woo swiftly and fluidly cut off his head cleanly. His head rolled down on the ground. I had killed a human even though it was the system that was forcing me to do it, but I can't back down now. Only the strong will survive, Jin-Woo thought. The mage who had first fired at Jin-Woo again fired, but Jin-Woo vanished from his spot and reappeared in front of him and sliced him into multiple parts. Two more tried to attack him, but Rimuru intercepted them and said, 2 against 1 is just unfair, don't you think? He said that before chopping their heads off. Jin-Woo then looked at his system and was surprised that those who were killed by Rimuru were also counted by the system as enemies hunted. The system just said the elimination of enemies, not by whom. He thought but didn't stop. In just a minute, both of them killed the whole strike squad except Dongsuk. Dongsuk got enraged and yelled, don't underestimate me. He buffed himself up. I will show you that not all C-rankers are the same. He thought he could beat them, but Jin-Woo appeared in front of him, and using only his bare hands he drilled Dongsuk into the ground. His will was utterly shattered by that single attack. He barely got up and pleaded for mercy. But Jin-Woo coldly replied, 3 times. You tried to kill me 3 times. Now you are begging for mercy. Don't think that you'll get away with this. Heh, Rimuru smirked and said, you yourself had said that whatever happens in the dungeon remains inside the dungeon, didn't you? You bastards, you don't know who am my younger brother. Jin-Woo, without hesitation, chopped Dongsuk's head. Dongsuk's body fell lifeless to the ground, blood pooling around his decapitated head. Jin-Woo stood over him, his eyes cold and unyielding, as he turned to face the rest of Dongsuk's gang whose corpses were lying on the ground. Jin-Woo then looked at Jin-Ho, who was vomiting a lot due to the slaughter. He addressed Jin-Ho and Rimuru, boss has been slain, therefore this dungeon could close any time. What about the crystals? Jin-Ho asked. No time for that, Jin-Woo replied. But Rimuru smirked and said, maybe I have a better plan. Both get confused when Rimuru stretches his hand outwards, and suddenly, a large black cloud forms and covers the whole mountain of crystals. Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho watched in awe as the cloud absorbed the crystals, leaving no trace behind. Rimuru turned to them with a grin, problem solved. Jin-Woo and Jin-Ho exchanged surprised glances before nodding in agreement. He then said, let's go out, I will explain on our way back. To be continued.